Kind of. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Dilbert. Mm. Oh, it's one step above pivotal tracker. Yeah.
think most of the time you use it, and as you progress along the sprint, the task will move from in progress to either blocked or done. So ideally, at the end of your sprint, you should have most of the stuff in done.
Yeah.
Okay, daily stand up, and during the sprint, well, teams will usually have a daily stand up. You practice this. And
Yeah.
this is how it looks like if you have a wall or if you have a sprint backlog. So the team gathers around the sprint backlog and they ask each other, they sort of announce these few things, what I did yesterday, what I'm doing today, and what is blocking me. So rule of thumb, you sort of update each other on these and keep it short. So daily scrum for clicks, meaning for team members usually, and then all discussions is part of the scrum. So scrum is basically to answer 3 questions, and then if you have any discussion on, let's say, how to implement this, that troubles implemented that, then interested parties will gather after the scrum to discuss about it in length. So this is scrum. And sprint review, it could be as simple as some of the teams gathering around this guy's computer and seeing what he's done for the sprint, or it could be something bigger where teams doing other teams and then
Round back.
done. So basically, it's a show and tell. Get done. Yes, this is me, the Scrum Master. Basically, my job is to solve the impediments of the team and then making sure that they practice this Scrum. Okay, why I love Scrum? If done right, so it promotes communication. Seriously, if y'all have so many tools that ask you to talk face to face, you have Scrum, you have sprint review, planning, everything. Everybody sits down and talk about why these things are stopping them, why it's not working, what are your concerns. So it's not where you send email to each other, a lengthy one. We try to say not to that. It's face-to-face communication. So I think it's good for communication. Then when communication is better, it promotes teamwork. And then lastly, then good teamwork, you make software that you're proud of. So that's it. And your mind. Presentation. Any questions? Yes.
If team, there's a remote team, is it possible to do Scrum?
Yes.
How?
Google Hangout, whichever. I mean, last time in F-Secure, the development team is here, our product owner is in Finland. You still have them, like the overlapping time, then you do Scrum. And after that, then you're on. That's why you have daily stand-up, where at least you meet together once a day. Yes.
This is very big issue now.
Yeah.
4 teams.
Yes.
Local.
Okay.
Tested. And another 3 more teams in Singapore.
Okay.
No testers. Using the same resources, same testers. So when they do their things in Singapore, they don't get us involved. But when they are done, they let us know. Then is there any way to solve this issue or make it better?
What's stopping you from entering their sprint planning?
I don't know whether they do sprint planning or not, and I don't know when they do whatever. Supposed to.
Oh, then they should have a sprint plan. Then you can join them, or you can join the daily scrum. Get yourself invited.
If I can't do it like real time, is there any alternative?
Real time, then you're back to documentation, and then you're pinging them all the time. And from my experience, if it's Skype and they've never seen you face to face, right, they're quite sweet. Like you say, yeah, they're not so nice to you. Once they have seen you face to face, it's more difficult to be rude to you face to face. So at least tell somebody at least rude face to face where they have seen you, put a face to you. Then after that time, we Skype them, at least they are more responsive. what you commit doesn't change. What we committed here doesn't really change. So it doesn't really work for me because this will always change. So we're doing something like Scrumban, where we're doing Kanban and
Yeah.
But what's stopping you from forcing to use introductory Scrum?
This has to change for us. Let's say more at the beginning of 2 weeks, we say, okay, we committed this part of work, we die do it. Let's say it's A, but business sold another thing earlier, and it's a shorter time period. It can be done. It's just that then you ask them to reprioritize it, then they say, okay, the one less important, put it aside. Then would you want to say, no, because we committed to this, we're going to do this. Then in the end, everybody's pissed at the team because we're not delivering. So due to that, we're not practicing doing Scrum. Due to a lot of things. This is the ideal world.
What can we do to let us be closer to this ideal?
For me, I think ideally, doesn't really need to be ideal as long as the process works for us. Because if you either use Scrum or you use Kanban or anything, Kanban is closer to this, which is then sort of what you need because our task is quite fast. Some of it, only the longer ones like the product loader, then you can do one whole sprint. The rest of it mostly a task size already. So then it's more like to do in progress done. So then work in, work out. Really, it's a bit depending on the size of the stuff.
Yeah, well, we have just migrated from Pivotal Tracker to another tool called Asana. So have you heard of it? And is it? Oh,
I haven't heard of it. I'm
okay.
still using Pivotal Tracker.
Okay.
Is it good?
Pivotal Tracker is pretty good, but according to my project managers and all that, it's not very user friendly or something. But to me, it's quite nice to use now. They've upgraded it. I like their new version. So now they're starting at Asana, which I feel is pretty good also. But to me, Asana there's no moderation. That means with Pivotal Tracker you can put it for approval, isn't it? With Asana there's no approval. You mark it as done, it's done. It goes into done.
Actually, then there's more like Scrum. Like Pivotal Tracker is more for including Kanban. But yeah, for us it's like everything goes to done. You have a definition of done. One is done, then everything comes here, the task comes here. Then you have the review at the end. Then
Yeah, but the way we work is I complete the task, I send it to the project manager. Project manager will use her tester or herself to verify, and then after that get back to me if there's still a bug or if there's still errors, or mark it as completed when it's completed. But with the tool Asana, there's no such thing. There's no put into pending, and then the project manager checks and then
Do you have different queues in that?
Different
you can
queue.
have different lists, right?
in Asana you don't. It's like kind of like everything together. But but inside each one of them you can assign the subtasks to each member of the group. So in that case, I think there's a little tiny bit of moderation there.
Any questions? Thank you, Cheryl.
Okay.
Today I'm going to talk about actually what does a tester do in Agile. Main thing I'll be showing you is how different is it from for a tester's perspective between using the normal waterfall method and Agile. Okay, this is a topic discussion. How testing is done in waterfall methodology. SNTAT comparing Agile and waterfall, how testing is different, and what is to look for testers for Agile. Okay. So So how testing is done traditionally is testers will be involved in these two phases,
Waterfall.
system integration test and or UAT's user acceptance test. Basically, testers will be just coordinating the user acceptance test. Yeah. Anyone not sure what is SIK and UAT?
As what?
Okay. Usually here, right, you know this waterfall, right? Development,
Yeah.
development, execution. Okay, during development, developers will do their things. And then at the end of development is the unit test. Unit test is here. And then different developers will do multiple things. So you can actually, within the same system itself, you do system tests. So unit test followed by system test, which is done by developers manually. Then comes to testing. First half is the actually SIT, system integration test. So for example, there might be multiple systems in place, each of them talking to each other, to different systems. Let's say you have a web portal, and then you have and then not developers. Okay. After which SIT will cover most of the things that's needed. So when it comes to second part of the testing is UAT, and the testers will usually coordinate this and tell people who are going to use the system and tell them, okay, this is done, we are already testing it, but you need to check it to see whether it fits your need or not. Whether you're going, because those are the people who are going to use it, you see, or at least the stakeholders, the business people who come up with the idea to do that thing. Yeah, so you get them to test it. Once they say, you probably just do a few tweaks and say, oh, it's okay, it's done. Then, yeah, that's it. Then you can release it. Yep. In Agile, I'm not going to talk about it because just now Cheryl will cover it. Okay. So, yep. How is it actually different? From what I see, Agile and Waterfall is quite similar. The things that they need to do to get a product out to production is actually very similar. It's just that they have different naming, and the main thing is not a bit different. For example, in Agile, when you do development, it's actually development plus testing. They put it into the sprint. So when just now Cheryl talked about the team, it's not only developers, it includes testers as well. So what testers need to do for each of the user story will be one of the tasks. So probably the testing task will be done the last after everything else is done. Okay. And then the finish will be the implementation. And the sprint review will be looking at what you've done for sprint, right? That is actually part of the somewhat like design for waterfall methodology. And then it goes repeatedly. And what you can see different from Agile and Waterfall generally is the speed, time taken to do one of this cycle. Agile is definitely much faster. For example, like Cheryl shared was 2 weeks. In my case, 2 weeks per team as well, but we do release every week because it's an overlap. Otherwise, super messy. But basically, yeah, it's pretty quick. And then I think that thing that Cheryl mentioned was the sprint retro. Sprint retro is actually for the team to come together. Sprint review is to say what you've done, whether it's correct or not, or good or not. Sprint retro is to say how you do it, whether how can you still improve on the way you do it, or is there any issues. Okay? The sprint retrospective is like something of an improvement on notes that you put into the final project report in Waterfall. Just to tell that these are things that difficulties to face. Next time we should do it the other way around so that we won't be this, blah 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 blah. Okay. Anyone want to refute me on this? Sorry? Anyone want to refute me? Did I do anything wrong here? Alright. Actually,
more or
so
less.
you can see from this, sorry?
Yeah, I think it's more or less correct. Although the retrospective is more of like, in our case, is after the end of each project.
Oh.
Yeah.
In many cases, nobody does this. Do you do that in high probability? Alright.
We did in a different way. It's slightly different way where we stop.
Yeah, it's not, and also it's not after every sprint, right?
Actually, last time we did it after every sprint.
But it takes a lot of time, right?
No, 30 minutes only. Then after that, but people got bored lah. Keep saying the same thing. But then lately I went to this conference that they said you can actually do videos also. So it's quite fun using the retro line. Yeah, can. No people, no fun lah.
Okay, why
You
you
and your friends.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, for my part, on my end also, we don't actually do the retro. The review, yeah, we do, but we don't actually do the retro. In Muda, it's a bit special. Basically, all this is being handled by the product owner and developers. The Scrum Master, I don't know much. And he's a nice guy, but he don't really do that much. So yeah, testing. Okay, how testing is different as compared to the waterfall method and the Agile. First thing first, like I say, is faster iteration. Okay, everything goes very fast, and although the requirements might be smaller, things that they do is might be smaller, but it's definitely faster in a way. Less or no documentation, and not as well defined requirements. Sometimes the requirements when it comes as a form of user story can be lacking in many of the details, and if the product owner is good, they'll actually give you the details needed. Okay, those that is not needed, probably the developers can fill it out themselves. Like exception errors occurs or whatsoever, they can still fill it out. Unlike waterfall where you have to specify everything, Agile is quite flexible in that sense. So some requirements are not that well defined, still can be done. Can still be done. Okay? Yeah, and actually this one tied strongly to the less or no documentation. Even the user story is not that well documented, you can see how the others, when going down the line, will be like. And then since it's very fast iteration, Agile is meant to adapt to the business using. So sometimes they are, just giving you an example, for example, they are going to add another field or rename a particular field on a form, just a wording change, and then they want you to test it works. Then the next week they say, we did our A/B testing and realized that the users don't like it, but we're gonna try something new again. So they can actually do that in Agile, which is quite impossible in waterfall. But again, to do that, the testers will see that it's actually very repetitive to do the testing work. You're testing this, there's a high chance that you might be testing the same thing over and over again for a small change. Okay? Yeah. And the next thing is people expect the testers to deliver similar quality products. It means the product must be of good quality, like what you would expect from a waterfall project. But you must do it in a very short period of time because the sprint ends, things done, roll it out. Yeah? So in this case, risk-based testing becomes very important. You need to know exactly what are the things that is, what scope of the testing is considered high risk, what is medium and what is low. If you do not have time and it needs to go out, then you have to do those very high risk testing and then leave the low risk one, or at least highlight what is the risk involved to the stakeholders. And once they accepted that, you all can roll the product out. And also the next thing is to understand the big picture of what they want to achieve. Sometimes they give you one user story or a few user stories, but actually behind that there is a pillar or vertical that they wanted to do. And you must understand what are they actually trying to achieve. And then sometimes the incremental change that is very small is across one week. And you do not have time to do that, you can actually, if you know that the next sprint will have something similar, you can split some of the test cases in between to work it out. Yeah. For example, let's say I will have time to actually do one of the user story this week. But I think that next week we are going to implement more changes onto the same thing, and that is even more critical. So I would get myself more time to prepare for next week's testing by testing more completely for next week's test. So this week maybe I'll just highlight the high risk one and I'll just test it, let it roll first until the next week, whatever they're going to change on the same thing, then I'll test all of it. Yeah. This is what I mean here. Yeah. How is this testing different from between Agile and waterfall methodology? That's what I can see so far. Anyone want to add to that? Katrina? Anything else? Yeah. Yeah, you see, that's the difference between Agile. Because in waterfall, usually testers are involved at the end, SIT. But for Agile, you are right from the start, at the beginning, when they do sprint planning. Yes, during sprint planning, you should already voice it out. Unless you notice it later, you can still voice it out, but you need to grab the developer as well as your product owner to go in and talk about the issue. Come to the document it down, just one line or whatever. Yeah, then they have to do it. I mean, if with reason good enough, you're doing for the company, you're not doing for yourself. So people should see that. Bring it out in the planning. Yep. Anything else? This is really a point that I find Agile a bit difficult to do because from testing perspective, people still expect you to deliver very quality stuff, but you don't actually have enough time to do tests. Sometimes I myself is not even convinced when I just do the high risk testing, then I don't know what else can screw up in the low risk part. It's like some of the things are very simple, it's very low risk, it's like typo that can happen at a very very low risk part where people don't really actually access. But as a tester, I feel very insulted or very not happy with myself when these kind of things leads to production and almost face here. Okay, the next part is I'm going to talk about how, based on this, how testing is different between Agile and Waterfall. What do you expect the testers in Agile to be like? So if you guys need to hire or looking for candidates in testing in an Agile environment, these are things you need to look for. Sorry, this is just a sample. Before that, this sample of this Trello that we use. This is basically the user story. This is the task for testing that I create. You can actually edit more description for the details of the user story here, and then actually developer can add more checklists for the task whatsoever. Once they're done, they just code it out, things like that. Yeah. And then for us, very simple. We have different queues, and this card will be placed in one queue. Once it's done, we move to the next queue. Testers will test it and then move to the next queue. Then review done, move to the next queue. Yeah. So for me, it's very simple. The documentation for us is just like this. And then when we are done, we just say testing completed, blah, 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 blah. You don't even need to write a report. We don't write test cases, or we just do a simple checklist to say that these are the things we tested. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. Next thing is what to look for in testers. The tester must have no life. No automation will be the best part, or at least keen on learning. Because you are going to do a lot of repetitive things, you want to do it fast. So automation is the only way actually. Okay, able to handle stress because a lot of things the requirements keep on changing, the requirements are not clear cut, which is very different from normal testers would see. You get things like just 2 lines, you won't even know where to begin. So you must be able to talk to people, and then when they give you shit answers, you still can handle the stress, okay? And not hard as at all time. Sometimes as a tester, I will say that, okay, see, this is not right, and I won't want this to pass. But in Agile environment, sometimes you have to let something slide, even though it might not seem that right, because they want it fast, and they are going to improve on it the next sprint, so on and so forth. So you must be very flexible in that sense. Yeah? And these are the qualities that testers in Agile should have, in addition to the usual qualities needed for testers. Yeah. So, actually that's all.
Okay.
Any questions? can see from the side, actually, I personally do not really like the Agile style. Although it can be quite effective from the business perspective, it's actually very heavy on testers. No, it's not, how to say, well, this part actually is very important. When they actually embark on Agile, right, actually I believe right from the start, you should get a tester to do the automation right from the start. Because if you try to play catch up later, it's going to be very difficult. Yeah, so, and most of the companies nowadays, they do Agile because everyone else is doing Agile, more or less. And actually the way they implement it, slowly over time becomes more and more documentation, more and more stakeholders involving once documentation. It becomes more or less like a waterfall, but at a shorter time. And it really taxes the testers and the developers as well, in a way. But how to say, another one of the few issues that I see from Scrum now is that actually Scrum requires the people in the team to do a lot of talking. Other than talking, they need to think and they have to say on what they actually think and what are the concerns. Because now what I notice is a lot of developers don't like to talk about things. They will just think, oh, this is my task, I just take it and I'm doing it. But they don't think about what's the consequence of them doing it, what is the scope of it. Or even if they know of any implications, they rather do it first, see screw up, then only they voice out, which is wrong. We should have people who are willing to think broader than what they are asked to do, and then they are good at what they do. Then very decision. Otherwise, it's really bad. You know what happens now for Nogama? The GM will call for a meeting for everyone. Then they drag the developer team, and the testers coming also. So testers per developer equals to tech team. So you ask questions to the tech team, developer's question. And the GM will specifically say, tech team, what do you think about this? And nobody opens their mouth, Then the two QA will look at each other.
That's why we say Scrum, the chickens cannot usually don't attend.
No, that one is not Scrum meeting already. We have our daily stand-out. That one is, you can imagine how Scrum is like when we have Scrum meeting with the team itself. Because this is GM coming to ask you questions also, they don't open their mouth.
But no, it's usually that when GM asks, don't answer. But when it's among the developer team itself, they talk more, especially it's technical stuff. Why do you do it this way? Why do you do it that way? You do it this way, there's concerns.
But then how to bridge with them? I mean, how the stakeholders on top, like GM, they all get to see what you do within this company.
Last time, right now, last time is sprint review, like demo already before you go live.
You come in and hello. actually, why did that happen? Last time when I was doing water formatter, right, we actually have weekly meetings to meet up with the owners, the stakeholders, to see whether their requirements still valid or not, or what are other things that they want to improve. Then as we work along it, it's more or less like what you do in a Scrum, but with more better documentation right from the start. And keep on, there's somebody, the lead who will be updating the document, then the people just do the codes. Just one person, the lead, which is Scrum Master, is doing that. And then actually I find it quite useful. When you see here they have things like daily Scrum, and we use the daily staff, we have daily meeting. At the end of the day or the end of the day to do the review of server. It's actually similar, but there are some of the things it's easier to say no to because you say that the requirements are there, these are not the correct way to change it, then when you do a review, see whether it's feasible or not. Whereas things like this will not happen in Agile. When you just say do it, if it doesn't work, we can change it back next week.
Sometimes when people write the requirements, it's not those kind of things happen. At that point when I am writing the requirement, I think it will work. By the time I finish and look at the UI, it doesn't work. Then it's 1 month later, then only you come in testing, hey, this doesn't work, very hard to understand. Then only you go back to development again and come down. So else change back. So it's like usually until now, especially like waterfall when well, if you say you do incremental, like 2 weeks later, like you still have some time to change, right? That's why it's tougher on the tester, which is why you should do automation, but it's more changing, and then it's not a waste of development time. You find out what are the problems that you are much faster.
If that's the case, why can't we just throwing it out? Why can't we do Agile method with more documentation?
You can also, the level is not as if we started off with, well, we prefer to talk it out. Let's say the tester comes in, so you understand, the product owner explains to you this. So when everybody understands it already, then there's the need to document it all down is therefore. So it's not to say developers don't do it, writing in your codes because else is like, at the end of the sprint, you have to clean up the code to write the documentation. That's another extra day.
If I ever run a company, that's what one extra day.
From the beginning, I think you have to do automation.
Yeah.
You need to be there. It's built up from a framework.
I mean, okay if you're running a company, wouldn't you expect your people to come and go? The people that will move on. Then those information that they have with them, once they leave, you get somebody to replace them. You can't replace the information that they have without documentation.
Let's say if he works proper unit testing, I change this part. I'm not sure whether it will pass or fail. So I run all this unit test. Don't close this week. I don't care already. It's going to pass. That's why in Agile they were saying like unit testing, that. But it's always easy when you work with right.
Hmm.
But to do it right, you need to like basically have to understand, yes, to do this code, you need to write unit testing. At first it will be harder, so they give you a longer time to write. But if you have to do it.
You want to try, Asim?
Like it depends. Like if I can just test an output of 2
it depends. Okay, if you are saying that two systems are developed by two different companies, right? Then it's, what you say works. If it belongs to the same company, they should only have one form and one requirement. Let's say they have a business idea that they want to implement, and the information flows through the two system and join together. Then it should be only one user story, and then when everything is done on both sides, the testers will test that story. So it tests both. It doesn't matter how many testers involved. But if you're saying that two different systems are developed by two different companies, one of them, let's say you're taking care of one of them and using Agile, the other one you don't know, it's unknown. Then you will just create a user story on your end to say that this particular point should interact with this system and what is the output. It becomes one of the user requirements saying, as a product owner, I want our system to be able to work with the email server provided by and you can test it then based on the class.
So analysis points and view of analysis points. So you're going at basically to one product. So you're going to one the best story part.
Nothing else for me. Anything else you want to raise? Any questions?
I like to explain because I exam for the past 2 months. Before this, I was working in a Singapore company. So I think our problem is that we want to do Agile, but we don't have the supporting infrastructure for activities behind that. Like we don't have TDD, like we don't have automated acceptance testing, and the ratio of developers to testers. Right now I'm involved in the Indonesia team and the Filipino team, so I'm supporting 3 teams right now. Yeah.
The ratio is like how many 10 to 1?
Yeah, Indonesia developers, I think 5 developers, so I think 15.
So what's your problem?
I tend to Agile effectively in that because in my team, developers do not really talk much, so I don't know what their thoughts behind their design. So normally I just get assigned via developer tracker. You have to test this, that's all. And during the sprint planning or product owner specify the story, the testers do not really involve much because partly in my previous company the tester plays the role of requirements engineer as well. so we can get the acceptance criteria for each story. But currently my team we don't do that. It's like
Force them to do it.
sorry,
Force them to do that.
because I am quite new, so
Usually, actually, this one right.
yeah.
Now, I thought to just put it. Somebody, as an example, this is what they write. That's it. They don't write anything else. The developer is supposed to put input here. They don't. What I do is I just create a checklist. After the planning, once I understand that, create a checklist. Exactly this is what I want. So once the developer done, right? Nowadays, what they do is actually they will just go through when they develop. Whatever they've done, they take it. When it comes to me, I take everything there, I redo, I test it, then I take it again. Once it's done, then I will say it's complete. So you can force all of this down the throat. This can become your acceptance list. These are things that you tell them, bare minimum, this is what it has to pass in order for it to be done. Otherwise, you don't let it pass. And actually, to cut down the workload, some of the things that is very low criticality, right? If you don't have time, right, just tell them this one, especially if it's technical and not front facing, then this is not critical. If you all screw up, it's your own fault. I'm not going to test this. Then move on to do other stuff. Don't kill yourself. Better than die.
Do you join the sprint planning
Yes, but not for initiative.
or for innovation?
So same as my case, they are done, then they just add the member, put my name there.
Can you tell
Yeah.
them that you want to do
Maybe I will just involve in this 1 month.
I actually have the same issue as well because the Singapore team, although the cards come in, I don't even know what the hell is it about. So it takes time for me to understand and it takes time for me to test, right? So their cards usually go offline. So they are slowly going to make some noise. And I'm getting ready to get fucking hands up soon. It's okay. I have my reasons. I really don't know shit about that.